Jai, Yogesh, welcome to Dubai Untold. As you know, we started this podcast with a very single focus that we wanted to let people know the journey, the learnings, the highs and lows when people come here and make it big. So it's not just about success stories or making it big here because everybody comes to Dubai with a vision, with some ambitions. Some people come with a lot of money. Some people don't get anything here, but just come here. And when they start a company or have ambitions, sustain a company, what goes through behind? No one talks about it. Yeah, Dubai is all about flashy lifestyle, cars. You have drivers. You have a lot of money, but how you got there? This is what we wanted to let our people know, that what are the things when people actually do something in Dubai and make it big, what goes behind. So this is a raw, unfiltered conversation. We want our people to know how you started, what's your journey, and what people can take away from your growth.
Absolutely, and thank you guys once again for joining us. Maybe what we can do is we can start with Jay. So I still remember Jay. We met a few weeks ago, and how we met was my sales team had scheduled a meeting with you, and before I was coming for that meeting, I did a little bit of background check about who am I meeting, and I then found out that the company IBT, which you run, it's a 15 years old company. It has more than 1,000 employees and almost $500 million dirhams of evaluation. So maybe before I spill any beans more further, can you please help us give a small introduction about yourself?
Thank you, Sagar and Kushal, for having me here. My name is Jai Mulani. I am the founder and CEO of IBT. We are one of the largest BPO company in Middle East, having multiple awards across different dimensions of companies and media companies and magazine companies who share, reward the companies who do well in their specific industries. Some of the recent names we have got awarded from Entrepreneur Middle East. We have been awarded by Dubai Chamber of Commerce. Also, multiple agencies who recognize and reward the companies who do exceptionally well in their industry.
Can we just go a bit back, Jai? Like, can you just tell us your background?
I came to Dubai in 2004, coming from lower middle class family where being rich is only by saving money. So my father and my grandfather, I love and respect them a lot. They always used to tell me, you can only be rich by saving money. And we were not. That point of time, we were lower middle class family where we had 12, 13 people staying in the 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom house, and crowded home. But we had amazing childhood. I have seen my grandfather, my father working 16, 18 hours a day. So I always had a mindset of working hard. That's in our DNA. So since my childhood, I was clear that I want to be rich. How? I didn't know. I didn't knew that what are the different ways of being rich. I was just clear I want to have a lot of money where means of life, the basic needs of life are well taken care of. My aunt used to live in Dubai at that point of time. I was 10, 12 years old. And I don't know why, but I was clear that time that when I grow up, I want to go to Dubai and make my life and make a lot of money out there. So I came in 2004.
So why Dubai? I mean, was it just very clear because the aunt was in Dubai, you wanted to go to Dubai?
I didn't know maybe any other country in the world that time. I was just 10, I don't know, I was 9 or 10 years old, and whenever my aunt used to come home, they will wear nice fancy clothes, they will bring some imported chocolates for us. So Dubai is the only place I knew, except my city, that people can become rich out there. Maybe Dubai was imprinted in my brain because of that. And when I came in Dubai, it was 2004, my grandfather told me, when you land to Dubai, just pray. Pray as soon as you land, and it's kind of a request to the land to accept me as its child.
Wow.
So as soon as I landed, and that time we didn't had this, from flight you just take a elevator and go to the airport directly. So flight will land on the airport and then you come in bus.
Correct.
So as soon as I landed, I prayed. That was the first thought in my mind that I want land of this country to accept me as its child. I felt very different, and I was like, I was very ambitious at that time also when I came. I was 19 years old. So that was the beginning of my career.
Today, as when you look at things backwards, what does rich means to you? But we'll come on that later.
Yeah.
Because every stage when we are, at some point we feel rich is money.
Yeah.
And then it changes all the time. The definition
Absolutely.
of luxury or richness changes. We have amazing contrasting people today on the podcast. Yogesh, I mean, we work together now. We've been working together from last 4 months.
Correct.
When we onboarded you as a customer, we did a bit of a background and kind of figured out that a 34-year-old boy running a development company with almost 500 million dirhams of pipeline, successfully delivered 2 projects, couple of villas in the pipeline, and a huge project in the making. And we were like, what's going on? Like, what's the story? What's this guy's background? So if you can please just tell about yourself and Sunrise.
My story is no different from story of any young boy, I would say, Moved in here 2004, went to Shoifat, where I met all my buddies. After that, went to Boston, did my undergrad in Bentley University. And after college, maybe I would say I was probably lost for 2-3 years. Was trying to do maybe few different things, shuttling between Dubai and Bombay. And finally, when in 2016 we decided to get into property development, that is when I started to feel a change in me and how I saw life, right? And we got into development, we secured. So it was we did it very cautiously and very slowly. Got the land first, then hunted for the consultant. Everything was, we were learning everything on the way. After it took us about a year to finalize the consultant because we were just so cautious about, making sure that we picked the right consultant. And that project lasted about 3 years. We didn't do any off-plan sales. We wanted to make sure that when at least a client comes and sees the project, at least they have something ready because we were new players in the market. That is how our journey started. That is how my journey started.
Maybe I think before we get into the real estate
Yeah.
journey, I heard something very exciting or interesting. So you said after Boston you were lost for 2-3 years.
Yes.
What does that lost mean? Can you help
What does
us?
that lost mean is
explain that?
not being absolutely sure of what industry do I want to operate in, what work do I want to do. I was trying to set up a fashion e-commerce website, did a lot of hard work, worked on it for almost a year.
Okay.
Didn't end up launching that because we got into development right around the corner and had to make that tough decision at that point of time because that really was like my baby,
Something you started.
I feel the same amount of affection for my projects, because going from a barren land to a fully finished product is a great feeling to have.
Once you figured out what you want to do,
Correct.
you started with development.
Correct.
But this takes a lot of money.
I come from a well-to-do family. They put me in one of the best schools here. I went to Boston for my higher education. Again, one of the really good schools there. And when I actually reached college, that is when, your eyes really open up to how different the lifestyle in America is, where students are taking, student loans and things like that to get into a good college or to even complete the education, where it was so different us, right? And it was a very different experience. So once you see that, you live in that for 4 years, you really start respecting a lot more things in life that a person does before going to college.
If I may say, you were privileged.
Absolutely.
Yeah, say
Privilege, not in the wrong sense, but I had a very good family backing.
Absolutely.
My father's been like more than a backbone of my existence, always supported me financially and always giving me great advice in terms of work, my career. So he's really been the guiding force in my life.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And real estate, as you said, like this is something which you.
When I was growing up, I wanted to be an architect.
Wow.
Dropped that idea when I was going to college because architecture was a 5-year course, and my parents wanted me to come back earlier, and it was a very difficult course at the same time. So I got into entrepreneurship and did that as my major.
Nice.
And then few years down the line after graduation, we are in real estate, and I'm dealing with best of the best architects, so I'm learning from the best, and it's all practical experience, right?
Absolutely.
True.
So it is so satisfying. It's absolutely satisfying.
Yeah.
So you're now living the childhood dream that you had.
Absolutely.
How about the other dream which you said you had to leave it halfway? Is that a dream which is for later?
Maybe not, right? That was something that I was trying to do on my own merit, so that would always play at the back of my mind. But am I absolutely ecstatic and happy to be in this industry? 100%.
Amazing story. Jay, coming back to you, you came to Dubai, you you prayed that this country accepts you.
Yeah.
What after that? What was the first job?
So as soon as you come to Dubai, you start looking for a job.
Yep.
And that time we didn't had all these online platforms, and it was really hard even to apply for a job. So we had two options. The first option was get 100 printouts of your CV and walk office to office, just leave the CV on the reception.
Door to door.
Door to door, yes. And the second option was we used to have a classified for jobs printed in the newspaper.
Correct.
So what I used to do is anything which is relevant to me, I will circle it, and then I'll go to some cafe. That time we used to have cyber cafes, and we have to fax the CVs. So half of the companies, I mean, they didn't even had the email addresses to submit the CVs on email. They used to have a fax number.
Yeah.
So end of the day, I will go to cyber cafe, 10, 15, 20 places where I wanted to submit my CVs. I would fax there my CV. That was a beginning of kind of job application, and looking for a job. Then I ended up in a retail company.
Okay.
They are into multiple, industries, including retail, and they are large in retail. So I got a job there as an IT technician.
Okay.
So my job was, I had a small phone at my desk. Anybody's printer is not working, computer is not working, they will just call me, and I will go to their desk and fix it. And surprisingly, I didn't had my own computer.
Okay. So you were just given that.
So I when ideal day, I would just go to the office and do nothing and wait for the phone call
To ring.
and I will go and fix their PC. So just in few weeks, I was clear that this is not something which I look forward to.
Just one stop there. You said IT service technician.
Yeah.
Did you study for it, or how did you get
So
that?
I was always interested in IT because technology is something always fascinated me.
Okay.
I did my graduation in technology. I had a kind of basic know-how of fixing computers and printers and all that stuff. So I'll go to office and wait for the phone call. Somebody had some issues, I'll go and fix it. So I think in just few weeks, I was clear that I wouldn't continue longer here because you do nothing. And I was very ambitious. And I was engaged that time. I was engaged at 19.
Wow.
Yeah.
So that's a separate story. We have a love marriage, and me and my then girlfriend, now my wife, We were like engaged. I was 19 and my girlfriend was 18. My wife was 18. So I came and I just said I wanted to settle down. So I worked here for a year. I went back to India and I promised my dad, please get me married. It's very hard for me to stay away from my girlfriend.
True.
And once she is with me, I promise I'll take care of you. I'll give you everything, whatever you want.
Yeah.
And I got married when I was 20
Wow.
and my
Wow.
wife was 19.
Wow.
This is,
Yeah.
So when you said you were quite ambitious from the beginning,
Yeah.
your wife was equally involved with you in terms of
Absolutely.
she would know that you'll have to, of course, work hard. And was she okay with?
It was really hard because I was newly married and I was working 16 hours a day. So my job was 9 to 6 and my salary was 1500 dirhams. I got my wife
1500 dirhams.
1500 dirhams, yeah.
Okay.
And this is year 2000.
Yes, 2004.
Okay.
Now, I was newly married, and that time that company was implementing some ERP or something. So I was proposed an option to do overtime up to 11 p.m. and I'll get 500 dirhams extra. So for 500 dirhams, I made my wife understand, please let me work. We don't have money,
Yeah.
And she was looking for a job. So she was not earning. It's
Correct.
just me.
That's
that
very
ti-
hard.
That
Yeah.
time, yeah. So she was okay. And then I used to work 12, 13, 14 hours a day. And with overtime, I used to earn 2000 dirhams. And I was applying on my wife's behalf for job, and she was applying everywhere just to get a job because she was on visit visa. So we have to make sure that
True.
she gets the job. If she wouldn't get a job, she again would have to go back to India, and then again I didn't want to stay away from her at all.
Love birds.
So luckily she got a job in third week. She came and in 3 weeks she got the job. And that time my salary was 1500 and she got a salary of 2500. That point of time it was like a kind of a big lottery for us that yes, now together we earn 4000,
True.
5000 dirhams together. And then I ended up with some IT company. There I joined, and first day my owner of that company made me work like a technician. I went to him in the evening. I said, boss, I don't want to work like this. This is what I left. So I don't want to do the same job again. He asked me, what do you want to do? I said, I want to do where I can earn money, give me sales, give me target. I would achieve whatever you tell me, but I want to make sure that I do well in my life. So he gave me a sales job. So first day I joined as IT, and second day I started working as a sales. And that time my salary was 2000 dirham. That was my second job. And he gave me a target of some 80,000 dirham revenue target in first month, and I did 120, 130,000 in first month. So
In the first month.
In the
you
first
mean?
month, yeah.
This is your first time ever doing sales.
First time ever doing sales, absolutely.
And
So
usually they say in sales, I've been in sales all of my life, but sales either happens by accident because when you apply for jobs, sales is the easiest thing to get into.
True.
At the same time, you can make the most
Correct.
in the sales
True.
profession.
true.
But that's interesting. So you made first month, you made almost.
I achieved
200%.
almost 200% target, and mid month itself, my previous company owner told me that you're doing well. We'll keep your salary 3,000, not 2,000, because you're doing good. And so first month, without any increment letter, he just told me that okay, from this month
You have a hike.
You have a hike.
Amazing.
So from 3,000 to 30,000, I achieved target month to month, quarter to quarter. I achieved 30,000 salary a month in 3 years.
From 3,000 to 30,000.
To 30,000,
in 3 years.
absolutely.
And you're talking about
Interesting.
that time when 30,000 was worth a lot.
30,000 was like, today we talk about 30,000 is equivalent to almost 100,000.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
it's
of the
too much
inflation
money.
and
Yeah,
everything.
absolutely. So that was I'm talking about from 2005. I started that company, job in that company, and till 2008 and or say early 2009. That's when I left company, and when I left, it was 30,000 dirham salary. So
Interesting.
I did a good growth there.
Very nice.
And did you always know that you would do well in sales, or it just came to you like, okay, let me do sales?
I always wanted to be in a commercial position where I can add some value to whosoever I'm dealing with. Or if we talk about our clients, that time technology was basic. We used
Yeah.
to sell computers, printers, and somebody buy a laptop. It was a big thing for us.
True.
That,
Big
it's a big company. They're buying laptops for the employees. So that's what I used to sell. But I think my background of IT technician helped me convince customers taking right decision of buying. So I could kind of narrate my clients in a better way.
Yeah.
The ideal salesperson would do. I used to do it in a better way, so I could earn their trust. Yeah,
So we are on a journey from 1,500 dirhams to 30,000 dirhams.
30,000 dirhams. Yes,
Interesting journey in terms of what you achieved that time.
thank you.
Coming back to Yogesh.
Yeah, Yogesh, I think you told us about family, real estate, and how did it start? Basically, I want to understand firstly, in what year did you move here, or what year you decided to get into real estate? Second and most important question, because you said well-to-do family, did you get an office on Sheikh Zayed Road? Because I'm a developer entering the UAE market, it has to be all richy rich ways, or how did the journey begin?
No, nothing. It wasn't like that. So my family was definitely in touch with real estate for a very long time. So we were investors. So we'd invest quite a bit in projects all across, ready. So basically, we would trade in real estate. 2016, we ended up finalizing on a land, right? So again, that was a much bigger project than just investing. Is a much easier, hassle-free
True.
way of just being in touch with real estate. And there was a lot of discussion if we should do it, not do it, and then so that went on for a while, and then it just so happened that this piece of land we got offered, everything worked out, and before we knew it, like we'd finalized, we'd signed the MOU, so everything was happening very fast. At least for me at that point of time.
How old were you at that time?
26 when we got the first land.
Bought by dad or?
Yes.
Yeah.
We finalized the plot, and then it was just a whole new aspect of vertical that we were trying to start. And 2016 was a time where today the market is very different, right? And the client is very different, the requirement is very different. And the kind of products that you're seeing being launched right now is also very different. It didn't happen, we didn't have branded residences back in the day, and just getting like a good quality building from a private developer was a big thumbs up.
True.
And so that is the problem that we were wanting to address, that we don't want to get into competition with boys who we cannot compete with, but we can deliver a product that would be far superior than what is being offered in those localities. So which is why we bought the land in Arjan and downtown or areas like that. Competition very high. Entry into the market, again, big stakes.
Yeah.
So Arjan we thought would be a good bet, and we bought the land, got a consultant on board. Took us about a year to finalize that, and everything was very humble, I remember going to, I would be at site almost every day doing the rounds. We had a porta cabin site office exactly opposite the site, and maybe 80% of the times I would either be in that office or
So
on the
technically, that
site.
was your office, the Porter cabin.
Operating out of there was just so you don't get, because as you keep growing,
Yeah.
that is the time that you're not going to be able to do again.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? So that was a lot of fun, quite a few number of people who I still work with till date, they were just walk-ins in my office, and they said, oh, there's a board outside and this is the side office and we supply A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z things. And I was like, oh, that is exactly what I was looking for. So please
Yeah.
come in.
Wow.
So because we weren't in this industry, so finding the right people to work with was very important, and just trying to make sure, and it was our first development. So we wanted to make sure that the product is of a certain quality, stature, and clients would be happy when they see the product, and it wouldn't be just another development in the ever-growing real estate market of Dubai.
So, did you sell from
We
like
didn't
off-plan?
do any off-plan sales since it was our first development. Again, like I keep saying, we were very cautious. So we were very cautious at every step up until the very end. You know, brokers would come see our project and they'd be like, "Come on, guys, you need to start selling now."
Yeah.
Right.
Don't you need money?
The structure is done. Sell now. I said, no, just let me just finish my lobby. And then once the lobby was done, I was like, okay, let me finish the podium. And multiple times the broker would just keep coming in. Your product is ready to sell. Because they absolutely didn't connect with the ideology, right?
True.
But for me, I was more of the mindset, see, this is my first development. A client is going to come and trust me with a huge sum of money.
For some people, it's their entire life
Exactly,
savings, getting a house. Yeah.
So I wanted to be sure that when they come in, at least I can show them what I have done. We had few very interesting things, that aspects that we planned in the building, and because you're a first-time developer, clients also don't have immense amount of confidence that okay, this guy is going to deliver exactly what he's talking about.
Very true.
And at certain point, that doubt you can clear it with conversation, but it's always there at the back of the client's mind. And I didn't want to do my first development like that. So once the building was fully ready, we received the building completion certificate and we got the 100% RERA certificate. And then we were like, okay, fine, we will start sales now.
Maybe one question before sales, which is...
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah. Before sales, you said till the lobby was ready or till the rooms were ready or the houses were
Correct.
ready. This was your first project.
Yes.
And this is you at 27.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you at 27, developing your first project in life. Of
Correct.
course, developing a house is different, but because we work with so many developers, we know that the percentage of concrete they talk about, dealing with contractors, dealing with 100 different government rules, regulations. How did you learn all of that?
Jai Bhai said, entrepreneurship is there in our blood,
Yeah.
My father, I remember I've had few of these conversations with him. He ended up setting his huge first textile factory when he was 30. That gave me a lot of inspiration, and that is where I was like, okay, now this is what we are concentrating on, and we have to make sure that our clients should be happy with what we're doing, right? So that was the driving force.
Very interesting. I know it takes, like, especially for a developer, sometimes based on these different approvals and everything what's needed, it could take months or years.
Correct.
Even.
Especially development, it is so complicated. It's so complicated because you need permissions. Okay, that procedure is fairly easy in Dubai as compared to doing development in India.
True.
Or a metropolitan city like
Cities,
Mumbai,
yeah.
right? Very difficult and tedious procedure. So in terms of procedures, Dubai is a lot easy, but there are just so many aspects to development, and if you've not been in it, right, then it gets a bit tricky, right?
Absolutely.
Interesting fun fact about the learnings, right? We ended up delivering a much superior product than our first development. And because of all the learnings and involvement that I had, and the time that we spent on ground, right, picking up all these things, we ended up doing the second development cheaper than the first one. When the markets for getting these things made and done was a lot higher as compared to earlier. So it all depends that you're knocking the right door.
Absolutely.
Right, and that's what you really need to figure out in any business, I would say.
True.
Yep.
Okay, maybe back to you, Jay. You said, okay, a journey from 1,500 dirhams to 3,000 and then to 30,000. In all this, how many years did it take?
4
4 years, from 1500 to 30,000.
Yeah.
And now coming to IBT, how did you start IBT? How did it evolve?
So in 2008, obviously we know recession came. A lot of companies were struggling. And I was, I think, 24, 25, 24, and I already had my daughter.
Okay.
So because of recession, we had a lot of salary delays, and company was struggling. Obviously, every company was struggling at that point of time. A lot of companies ran away, and the company where I worked was kind of little bit struggling. So I thought this is the best time to exit, and I exit, and we are still good friends with the previous company. But I did exit nicely, and I started IBT in 2009.
In 2009.
Yeah.
Okay. It's been 15 years to IBT.
15.
Okay, that's amazing. And I think I just said in the start that now it's worth 500 million dirhams.
That's right.
One question before we deep delve into IBT is all that 4 years of experience which you had, did it help you in any way to take IBT from where it is today? I mean, from where it was to where it is today?
In first job, I came to know what I don't want.
Okay.
In second company where I worked, I was very clear what exactly I want. So it was like my stepping stones and milestone which made me clear what I want to achieve in my life.
Would IBT be IBT if it was not because of those experiences?
I don't think so. When you want to make it, you make it, regardless of your past successes or past failures. When you are determined to do something in your life, you would do that.
Absolutely.
If you don't stop and you keep doing what you're supposed to do, you will achieve what you want to achieve anyway, right? What I learned in my previous companies, maybe I would learn little later. But the good thing about being an entrepreneur is you give yourself opportunity to fail. So when you fail, you make sure you learn out of it and you grow out of it.
Can you talk about one of your biggest failure?
Right. So IBT is just one company out of 7 or 8. Out of all the businesses which I have started, I think 3 of them are successful.
Okay.
And others were not successful. So I believe in quick failure. So if you fail fast. It's okay to fail, and you allow yourself to fail
Learn
and
from
you
that.
learn. Yeah. I remember I was fully depressed in 2016, I believe. I wanted to make something else outside IBT, so I tried something else, and that was the wrong idea.
Do you mind sharing what domain was that in?
That time e-commerce was booming a lot, so I thought I'll start something
On the bandwagon, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll start something in e-commerce, and we spent almost a year working again 15-16 hours a day. But that business failed, but I was enjoying, and because I was enjoying, I was happy. Even at the cost of losing a lot of money every month, I was happy and I was fine with it. Okay? Because when you are depressed, you want to make sure that you are happy.
Correct.
At the cost of losing money. And I had privilege that time. It's okay to lose some
You could
money
afford it,
for a
yeah.
few months, and but just try to feel happy. I suggest when you are depressed, don't do anything. Just leave yourself alone.
Yeah.
Stay with your family. Spend some good time with your family. And when that company failed, which I started, I just stopped going to office for a few weeks. I was just whole day at home with my kids. Just 10-12 years I worked non-stop, 16 hours a day without any break. So I think it was fatigue, mental fatigue or physical fatigue. So I allowed myself to do nothing. So I wake up, have coffee, have breakfast, and do nothing. Have lunch, do nothing. Just literally nothing. And IBT was already doing well that time. So I had privilege to have my leadership team to run the business. And I told them, I'm going for leave. Don't call me. Even if it is emergency, handle it yourself.
That is such a big thing. I think most of the entrepreneurs in their life, they go through this one point when they don't know what's happening. They don't know what's going on with them. And I think it helps, like for me and Sagar, because we both are partners. Whenever that stage comes, we both talk to each other.
Yeah.
Because to be very honest, just as you said, a lot of times we feel like, okay, why should I take the professional problem home? Like, why should I discuss it with the family? Why to put them in more stress? So we have the privilege, we talk it out with each other.
Yeah.
Then, of course, at times we also talk with our better halves. But this is something, to talk it out is something very important. And I
True.
think a lot of people don't do that.
The reason I fell into depression is it was a hopelessness. I was doing everything to make sure we are growing. Everything. Hiring good people, hiring good talent, technology, focusing more on, brand, building a brand. We did everything, but we are not growing. So that made me start something else that also didn't work, So I became hopeless that I have a big dream, big ambition, but I am a bloody failure in my life, So, and it's a deep black hole, when you just get into it, it's very hard to come out of it. So you have to be very cautious. As soon as you feel hopeless, make sure you are with the right people.
Correct.
True.
Yeah.
I think
So
in all businesses, being stagnant is a part of it. For a few
yeah,
years,
yeah,
all of
yeah.
us will. So
True. And that's when I think when I started feeling better after 3-4 quarters, almost a year we wasted in behind my health. We started so aggressive. It was like a second inning for me in IBT. And I was like a damn clear. I knew exactly what I want. I started negating so many things which I started that point of time. And gradually our business focus was like laser. We exactly knew what I want, how I want, and 99% of the things we negated. So we have a vision list, we have a plan, projects, and all that stuff. So 99% of the things I scrapped. Just one focus, and we grew out of this very well.
Yeah. No, I think that's very important because a lot of people ask us, especially ask me all the time, what's one thing we should do in terms of starting a business or growing a business? Yeah. I always say, I can't tell you what you should do, but when you do that, you have a lot of distractions.
True.
correct.
Like right now, both of our heads have at least 12 to 15 new business ideas, which are going on right now as we speak. Some of the ideas are looking so lucrative that it's a no-brainer. That we have to start that, yeah. But I think that's where I feel,
True.
while running a company, you get distracted. You want to take this up,
Correct.
because it's very difficult to say that if I don't take this up, I might be losing a lot of
Opportunity.
Fear of
opportunity.
missing out,
Exactly.
But I think that's very important of saying no to something which you're not sure of,
Yeah.
because focus has to be very strong.
True.
Yeah. Yogesh, one thing I've been noticing from Yogesh since the day I met you, we've had a couple of meetings, long meetings and all, but I've always seen you quite focused of what you want and what you don't want. Is it by choice? Do you train yourself in terms, because I've kind of proposed you ideas and we've discussed a lot of things about your business, but I've seen you always know what you want.
Like he said, it's so important to concentrate on your core competency, and I always feel that okay, I'm just getting into this. Like this is our beginning right now. It's like my journey is very long.
Yeah.
Right. And for me to be easy to get into different verticals, I need to make sure my foundation is as strong as it can get, right? That even if I dedicate all my time to a different vertical, my foundation is still strong and solid, right? And I try to implement that in our business, in our product every day, right? If you even just come and see building 1 and building 2, right, you'd feel a massive difference. And when you see the third one, right, again, so it's all part of making sure that our foundation is as strong as it gets.
Growing to this level and having such a lean team in your office, like I can count the number of people, but
Yeah.
still running such a crazy
Correct.
development company.
Correct.
What kind of, what's it behind? Like, do you don't believe in having an army of people working, or you believe in having the right people and then?
I mean, it is more important to have, and at least for me, it is more important for me to have the right person, or person who I can trust, or even if we've groomed, there are everybody who's joined us in our past 7-8 year journey, it's mostly just been an addition, except maybe 2 employees, right? It's
Okay.
only been, everyone's just been added, and whoever was added at whatever point of time, I'm really fortunate that they're still here and they are part of our core team. And the kind of things that they pull and do is, I feel that we're managed so well with just our small team of 10, 15 people that I don't need to, go outside for additional help.
True.
10, 15 people. A developer
15.
who has developed 2 buildings,
Yeah.
ongoing 2 villas, and coming up with a huge project.
Yeah.
You're saying you have 15 people in-house full-time.
Full time, yeah. We are very boutique firm, and
Wow.
I take a lot of pride in being a boutique firm because I
Absolutely.
enjoy spending time with my 15 people. They're
Team.
like my homies,
Yeah.
Team, of course, right? But in true sense, we sit, we eat food together, and we do everything. We're with each other for about 10 hours a day. So if we're not enjoying each other's company, and
True.
besides me, if all 14 of them are not enjoying each other's company, then we don't see the productivity at work. But then when everything is so well in harmony, you really see it in the product, right?
Absolutely.
It's managing the back end, because the back end is managed with so much harmony, is why you can see it.
Also, maybe along with the team, I'm sure you need a lot of partners who you can trust and work with to develop a product like yours, right?
Absolutely.
What mechanism or what kind of checkpoints you have in place to choose the right partner? How do you do that?
Like be it agencies for marketing or your
Contractors.
contracting, your architects, because having a lean team inside, but
Like
of course
how
you have to
you
have
said,
agencies.
we met 4 months ago, we
Yeah.
connected, right? And that connection is what's important. Like I see my relationships as a connection with people and not what I have on paper. What you have on paper is useful when you want to go to court, right? Otherwise, whatever anybody will do for anyone else, it's a lot. You get that extra cherry on top because of the relationship you
True.
maintain, not because of you, oh, give me that extra cherry is mentioned on that paper, right? So, and that is how I just enjoy my work, and it just happens so naturally that we're so fortunate.
I think there's a very nice term the generation these days use for it. It's like, you are my vibe, bro. Like it's that. Like if vibe matches, things
You're my
automatically
vibe.
fall in
You're
place.
my vibe.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One more question about real estate, and then we'll move on to Joybert. But of course, look at the market. You are, I think, right now in the best industry, best timing to be in.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The kind of people who are coming to Dubai, and the demand is still going to go high because still, as per the Dubai 2040 vision, we still need a lot of homes.
Correct.
Yeah, but at the same time, how do you compete with the ones who've already been established? People trust them more and all. You just show them your product, or
I really don't wish to compete with the big boys. They've, again, so they're the ones, I would say, they've made the path for everybody who's followed behind, right? So not taking anything away from their credibility, but I just choose to do my product in a way where I would be very satisfied if I lived in any of my projects, right? And that is my baseline of designing any product. Whenever I'm sitting with my architects, both of them know that the product has to be of a certain finesse. Not because, so we haven't done any development in a downtown or marina yet. Our developments have been in Arjan, and the next one is coming up in Wasselgate. So these are new developing areas. But our product would go heads on with any of the product in any of these prominent areas. And that is what really satisfies me, to bridge that gap between, want and a need that a client always has to fight with, right?
Yeah.
I want to be in downtown, but that is not my need, or I cannot afford it, right? Or want a certain quality, but that's not a need. So we really try to bridge that gap in a client's mind and with our
And
product.
so at the moment right now, we meet a lot of people, right? Especially in business people. Everybody wants to have a pie of the real estate development. What's one misconception which you feel for someone, let's say if I want to be in developer and as a natural progression, having invested in Dubai now, let's say if someone wants to be a developer, what's one misconception you feel for this industry?
Us coming from investing heavily in real estate and then deciding to get into development, from that experience also, it was not an easy journey at all. And when people who don't have any experience, what they think is, okay, we'll get a consultant, we'll get a contractor, we have the money ready, and 2 years later the building will be ready. But the amount of verticals that you need to address and deal with at every stage is a lot.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
And the deeper you get into it, the more verticals are automatically created. The more you want to concentrate on quality, the more you will have, the more verticals you will have, or the more people you will need to make sure that every corner is checked, right? The more you want to concentrate on any aspect, the more you want to concentrate on marketing your business, right? You will need a lot more manpower in that field. So the more you keep growing and getting into this game, it gets intense. It doesn't
Absolutely.
get easier. It gets fun for sure, because then you can make certain mistakes, or you can, try to experiment without having that knife over your head.
Okay, so I have a small amount of money. I shouldn't talk to you about it, right? Right.
No, the
okay.
reason I ask is because we
Yes.
get a lot of, so we work with developers a lot, yeah?
Correct.
And we would deal with a lot of businesses where they basically, in a way, tell us that, okay, I'm going to be in development. You handle our business. You handle the brand. I'm going to put money. And this is
True.
so much happening these days in Dubai.
Correct.
Because people are just seeing the returns, yeah?
Yeah.
But they don't know what goes behind.
So generally, what happens is whenever people see a lot of growth and money, they just want to fall towards it, right?
Correct.
Follow towards it. So
Be a part of it.
yeah, generally businesses doesn't work that way. You need expertise and competency to get into it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Speaking of competency, and I think something which Yogesh said as well, in terms of people, getting the right people for the job. You have an army of 1,000 people working under the IBT umbrella. What are the few basic checkpoints you see in a resource or in a person when you get them on board or when
Right.
you hire them?
So we have a separate recruitment team who have checklists to follow. Now, 60% of our people are customer oriented people, right? Because we are in outsourcing industry where people are our asset. So we make sure that they have few qualification, not in terms of certification, but few qualification of handling customer well on the call. And how they comprehend customers' complaint and how they brief customers, how do they handle angry customers, because we are in customer experience industry.
Yeah.
So this is something which has to be the first primary focus, regardless of the language of the resource we hire. The first thing we look at is how do they comprehend the call overall. How good are they in talking?
People management skills, basically.
Right.
Okay.
The second large employee strength we have is a technology. So in technology is very straightforward,
Yeah.
experience and skill set and certifications. So when it comes to technology, we follow the standard recruitment process. And when it comes to customer experience recruitment, we make sure that they are very good at the calls and facing customers. Now, whenever I hire anyone in our leadership team, so that recruitment I do myself, because leadership team is the team who runs the business, right? Who are the architect of the business basically. So again, whenever we hire anybody into our leadership team, education, certification are kept aside of the table.
Yeah.
I don't even look at their CV. I have 2-3 basic questions. So first, I just see how long they have worked in other company in that position, right? If I see somebody changing their job every 2 years, 3 years, they are never going to be in our leadership team. So currently we have 6 or say 7 people in our leadership team. Most of them are with IBT more than 8 or 10 years. And their previous job also they were more than 7, 8, 10 years. Second thing, we look at loyalty and honesty, how transparent they are. And simple question, how did they handle exit with their previous company? So if you had a bad exit with the previous company with whom you worked for 8 or years or 10 years, obviously they might not be the good fit for you. So we make sure that the people who come on the leadership team, they are clear with their future, clear about their goal and vision. And definitely, if somebody has worked 8 years, 10 years in some other company, skills are always there. That's how they survived in any other company for so many years, right? So skill is also something which we can coach. If
Teach, yeah.
if employee is good, we can coach them to do anything, right? But if they are loyal, if they are open to work long term with the business, we get them on board.
If I have to ask you a question, I think there are hundreds, thousands, or maybe, I don't know, a very big chunk of people who come to Dubai, who are maybe even right now in Dubai looking for a job.
Yeah.
Maybe very basic skill set, and some might have the best of the best skill sets.
Yeah.
What would you give as a advice to those people who are right now looking for something?
Dubai is very vast, right? Hiring is happening everywhere. Now, even when we look at the CVs, people write everything. And when you actually meet them,
True.
It's a different story.
they actually know maybe 5% of it. right?
Absolutely.
Even in leadership team, somebody is applying for a director position in our company, and I am taking their interview, and they write so many things. But if you ask a basic question of something which they have written on the CV, they fail to answer that. So my one advice: just write what you know.
Be very transparent.
Be transparent, and don't apply everywhere. So not every company will fit you, or not, and you will not fit in every company, right? First you define. I'm sure everybody needs a job. They need their payroll going
At
on.
least a platform to begin with.
Yeah. Still be clear what exactly you want, what kind of culture you would fit in.
Yeah.
And then apply for a job. And when you're clear in your CV, what do you know? Make sure you know that, and you're open to answer that clearly, and then it should get through.
Yeah. I remember when I came to Dubai, I applied for jobs and I knew I wanted to be in sales because I was doing sales throughout my career. And but I was clueless in terms of whatever company I get, I'll take it. I got a job in the second day of my visa expiration. But
okay.
Yeah.
I was clear that sales is something I want to do. But when you are struggling, when you're looking for a job, you don't really care.
Yeah,
You just
true.
need to start somewhere.
Anybody who
I
come to
did.
Dubai, anybody who would come to Dubai on a visit visa, they just want to get a job.
Get something.
So that's a good thing, But
Yeah.
just be clear in your CV. If you know how to fix a plane, then you write.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, every CV has big things written on the on the document, and when basic question is asked, they fail to answer. So even they could be a good fit for the company. Still, generally, company don't choose them because
Absolutely.
they are not transparent in the interview. How would they fit into the company?
True.
So just write what you are.
Absolutely.
One question I want to ask both of you. You can answer as you like, but taking risk. Of course, more the risk, especially the business you are into, Yogesh. Higher the risk, higher the reward. Likewise.
Yeah.
How do you guys evaluate, or have you taken any major risk which has really worked for you, or maybe you failed, that risk didn't work out?
Blown up in the face.
Good. Not that we didn't take any risk, or it wasn't, or it was all, bread, butter, chai, pani, easy, relax,
Yeah,
go home.
yeah.
Right? So that definitely was one of the biggest risk that we took at that point of time. Fully self-funded, fully self-developed, not sold anything off plan, right? That's a huge chunk of money that
Absolutely.
went into development. And then very, very luckily for us, that helped us grow, to multiple projects, right? And so it's been a great, fantastic journey.
So that risk, let's say it's giving you the reward, or it was
Yeah,
worth all of it.
correct.
Was there any such instance where you took a risk and it didn't work?
My website, I always feel that, definitely
The fashion one.
The fashion one,
Yeah.
it's always going to be there at the back of me and my father's head, right?
That's right.
Because he didn't get his investment back for
But
sure.
generally, this happens a lot. Taking a risk is in entrepreneur's DNA.
Absolutely.
Every day, any business you start, there is a huge risk. Huge risk of being broke. Huge risk of being, risk at handling so many people's responsibility. We have a lot of compliances which we got to follow.
Correct.
So risk is always there.
Has it ever happened with you? Any such instance?
Yeah,
where
I have failed miserably, Kushal. Miserably. I mean, if I count my businesses, almost 7 to 8 we have started, and we are successful only in 3.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's still a good ratio.
Yeah.
that's a good ratio.
That's almost 40% success ratio.
Yeah, because experience helps. Like IBT was my first business,
Yeah.
so and that time we had no option to fail. I mean, I think I had 7 or 10,000 dirhams in my bank account, and I have post-dated checks given to the small office which I had in Karama. So that was the time we had no option to fail. Like you
Yeah.
burn the boat if you want to take over the island. So that was the situation.
Wow.
So that time we had no option. But after that, when you have experience of doing something successfully, then you kind of
Replicate the model.
that, but it doesn't work in every business model.
True.
So out of 8, 6 failed.
Okay. Talking about that, let's say today, hypothetically, if someone puts you in a new country, total new country,
Yeah.
no money, what would you do and how would you start?
Now, depending on the country or the land where I am into,
Let's say you are in Europe.
I'm in Europe. Anywhere in the world, if you leave me alone for a year, I would be more than $5 to $10 million. How? That I'm not sure now, but it's very clear based on the country you are placed in, based on the demand and supply law of the country, what is actually working, like in UAE, real estate working, right? So if I would come to Dubai now, I would maybe prefer to work towards real estate, or with my technical background, I would choose to prefer in AI industry, but inclined towards real estate. So combination of tech and real estate.
Prop tech, maybe some kind of
Prop
prop
tech,
tech.
yes,
yeah.
yes. So any country, based on my experience, if I go now, earning few $1 million is like a year or 2.
Because you mentioned AI, BPO business.
Yeah.
Of course, now you know AI taking over the whole world.
Yeah.
Does it be at the back of your mind that AI might take up your business?
So it has already taken over.
Okay.
So I have a client. I'll tell you the name once we finish.
Sure, sure.
Absolutely.
So they are one of the largest food and beverages company. A quick F&B company.
Okay.
We had a daily call ratio. I'm talking about 8 years ago, 15, 16, 17, I'm talking about. Every day we used to have 3,000 to 4,000 calls for new order. Wow. So in 15, 16, when all these aggregators, online platforms were new, whenever you want to place an order for food, you call the restaurant, you place the order. That was the way. So that time we had a brand, they are still with us now. We used to have 4,000 to 5,000 calls every day. Now that call is like 500, 600.
Because of chatbots and all that.
Because of chatbots, because of apps, because of WhatsApp chatbots. So now we have also pivoted our business. So we are the ones who proposed AI-based chatbots to the same customer. So we retained that client, where even today you can go to WhatsApp chatbot and place your order on the WhatsApp and food comes to you. Also, we have a AI-based app. You place the order or you call. So everything is omni-channel, centralized, coming to us. So we receive the order and the order is being delivered by them.
So yes,
pivot.
with techno,
Yes.
So you're
exactly.
Pivot.
Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah. Pivot.
Interesting.
If you were given, let's say, $100 million, not with no money, $100 million, but in
But
new
why
country.
I'm with no money and he's with $100 million?
We'll come on that as well.
Yeah.
Would you still start real estate again?
That is what I know the best, right? And wherever you go in the world, wherever you go, there is always lack of good real estate, right? You will have a Mercedes or a Rolls Royce, most of the parts, right? Like, you get what I'm trying to say? Like,
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
a good car is still accessible to a lot more people, but a good apartment is not accessible to the masses.
At a good price,
At
the
a good
value.
price.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Just to follow up on the same question or the topic, hypothetically, if you were to put in some other part of the world without money, what would you start?
No money, no nothing. I'd probably get into sales. That would, at least like and I feel I could be a great salesman,
You're a
like
people's
the-
person, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like the satisfaction of selling Kushal a hairbrush would just get
Would
me
mean
high
the
on
world.
life, right? And I could definitely do that day in, day out.
For people
For a
just listening
while.
to this, they should know I have no hair. I don't need a brush. Interesting.
Coming back to the first part of the podcast, where you said you were ambitious and you wanted to become rich. Today, do you feel you have arrived? Do you feel yourself that this is enough for me now? I'm rich enough, or that still that urge is
Hunger.
still there?
That was the second thing. You start getting depressed. When you think you have arrived, you fall back. So no, answer is no. I don't think I have arrived. And this is the best part of me as an entrepreneur. I'm never satisfied with whatever I have. So I remember when I was doing that 1500 dirhams job, one of my manager had a car and that was my dream. I wish I have this car and my wife is here. Oh, that is what I want in my life. And today we have multiple cars and we are still looking forward to something more. So hunger should be there, and I recommend everybody, regardless of what you do, your profession, your job, your business, don't be satisfied and be hungry, because that is what will make you drive. And if you don't have a drive, you are depressed. If you have drive, you will always try and achieve something good for you and your family.
And what's the definition of rich to you now?
When your family, or when you want to buy something and you don't look at the price tag, it's good thing to have. Like, we like the house, we buy the house. We like the car, we buy the car. We don't ask the price. It
But
means
that's a cycle. That's never
it's a
ending.
cycle, right? And this is what I'm good at now. Now we have few houses. Now whenever I look for bigger house, and again I try towards working towards that, and I make sure that when I go and look house like this, I don't have to ask the price. So you keep always chasing something bigger than what you have. But richness is all about your mind satisfaction, and especially people like me who are ambitious, we feel good when my kids wants to buy something and they don't care the price, or when my wife looking for something, we don't look at the price tag. Yes, we value money, there is no question about it. If my child is buying something and if I see they have it, the answer is no. But if they want it, they want best of it, we
Why
don't
not?
mind. Why not?
And maybe Yogesh, I'm sure your answer will be a bit different in terms of definition of being rich, or let's say we've arrived. What do you think? Like, is money the driving force behind?
Not at all. See, the proudest moment I would tell you is when I handed over legacy to all my clients just a couple of weeks ago.
Yep.
And it was the journey that we did from the first project to the second project, right? Client feedback, everybody who's come and seen the project, and and it's not that people are just saying, "Acha, ha, it's a good development, thank you." And like when people absolutely unrelated to me, or few of my most hardest clients, right, who are going and checking every square inch of the apartment. And I love those clients, right? My team sometimes gets
Annoyed with them.
absolutely.
But they are the
right?
client who raised the bar.
They grow you.
I love
Absolutely.
tough clients.
And
Absolutely.
that is what I explain to them. They are the ones who are going to teach us how to be better at what we do.
Absolutely.
And so when people give me such good reviews for Legacy, and they're so happy, and when all our investors or end users, whoever had bought our product, right, they're getting a much better premium than what we sold it to them for, right? And that really makes me very, very happy.
And I could see that happiness on that day of your event handover.
Correct.
I could see the
Thank
proud
you. Thank
part
you.
coming out.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Also, in that case, if I have to conclude from your end saying, for you, being rich is being content.
Being rich is being content. Yes, I am. I've always been a very content person, right? But not that I'm not hungry, right?
Absolutely.
And sometimes, like earlier, right before the podcast started, we were talking about time, right? And like when our parents were in or making the whole platform for us, or in life, right, when they were making the platform in life and busy with work, 16 hours 18 hours a day, bas kaam pe ja rahe hain. Ab bachpan mein how much did I get to see my father, very busy with work, right? So for me, it's more about when my wife tells me, chalo, don't go for work today, or let's go somewhere, or come back early. I don't have kids yet, but I would definitely want to, just be able to sit and spend time with them, right? Because it was more about what I didn't get to experience too much as a child, I feel. So
Absolutely.
that what naturally plays out in your adulthood, right?
So true. No, I think I relate. I can understand you, and
Yeah.
I relate a lot with
Yeah.
Jay. Very similar when I came almost 11 years ago. Started with 1,500 dirhams of salary. And just for the first 3 years, there was no time which I had like 18 hours a day, work days going on.
Yeah.
From there, moving into different places. And for me, as I told you guys, I was clueless what I wanted in life. I did my computer engineering, but I didn't like coding. Tried my hands on it, didn't work out very well for me. Moved into project management operations, but then I knew that I love talking and I love meeting new people and I love talking to people. So from project management, moved into sales, and this is when I think I found my calling as well.
Okay.
And this is where I met this amazing guy and we started our journey together. So that's how things are folded out. Eventually, as we understand that for ambitious people, all of us, there is no stop line.
True,
The bar
true,
always keeps
true,
growing
true.
Yeah.
high
Work
and
always
higher.
keeps
No,
going
but
on,
sometimes, especially my sales team, I feel sometimes they hate me. Trust me. So we have quarter closing, we have year closing, and at least 3 quarters in a year we achieve our target.
Last question, we didn't get that answer from Jay.
Okay.
Your proudest moment in your life before we conclude this podcast?
I feel proud for few moments. I mean, I'm really not a content guy. I mean, I feel happy and I feel satisfied for few hours or maximum a day. Every year when you hit the target which you planned, I feel happy for first 1 day or maybe 2 days. 3rd of January, again, I'm hungry. We have to achieve that monthly, week, quarterly, yearly targets. So, but good moments I remember when I started IBT, 2011, first VC walked into us
Okay.
that they want to invest $5 million in IBT, and they wanted 51% stake. No majority, obviously, and that's what they look for. And that was I felt proud that IBT is worth just in 2 years $5 million, but because they wanted majority stake, we denied. And then this kind of offer started coming in from VCs and private equities multiple times. The last time I felt proud was last year when one of the Fortune 500 companies, I will again reveal the name
Later,
backstage.
yeah.
One of the largest company globally. They are into Fortune 500. They gave us the acquisition offer for $150 million. That was last year,
Beautiful.
which is close to $500 million dirhams.
Absolutely.
But that was again a proud moment for a day. Now again, we are moving on to $1 billion dirham valuation. Yeah.
No, we'll definitely have a chat on that
Absolutely.
as well later
Absolutely.
because the
Absolutely.
kind of money which is pouring in the right businesses.
Today, IBT is 100% organically grown business, bootstrapped. We have very limited facilities from the bank because we don't want. My father used to tell me, why would we pay interest? Why don't you earn and grow your business yourself? So we have amazing facilities from the bank, but we don't utilize that just to avoid paying extra interest on top of it.
True.
Multiple offers comes in for investments from VCs and private equities, but again, we don't get into it. The only reason when they come to you is they know that if I invest, say 100 million, 150 million dirhams or dollars into this company, they will return me with 20, 30, 40% extra
Time profit,
profits, right? So when your company is organically grown and 15 years of history, a good leadership team, amazing customer base, so when you have that kind of business, people walks to you
100%.
because they know they will get out of it. I mean, they'll earn out of it.
People eventually put money on people.
Absolutely.
They don't put on brands.
Absolutely.
Right? I think they
Absolutely.
see the hunger, the drive of, as you said, the leadership
True,
team.
true,
And that's where the
true,
money is put on.
And
or
when
bet on.
you know that you are going to, if you invest 1 million, you will have 1.5 million in say few years from now. It's a good deal, right? Yeah. So business is not something similar to tangible. It's not a tangible. Business is intangible. You can't see that. But
Yeah.
if you look at the team, if you look at the revenue, customer base, that's how they value today.
True.
Correct.
Yeah. So
Yes, I
Guys,
think thank you both
Thank you for
this
having
amazing
us.
session.
Thank you guys for having us.
Both of you had a totally contrast story, but I'm sure everyone who's listening, including us, I mean, we do this, by the way, we only do this for our own learnings.
yeah.
Absolutely.
People who are listening, even if one person gets out of it something valuable, it's always
Makes
a bonus.
sense. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But we both do this especially because we want to learn from the best. We are on a path to, of course, growth, hunger,
Right.
but also being content at the same time, whatever we do. So thanks again for all the feedback and for all the insights. And
Thank you for all the learning, guys.
Thank
we
you
loved
for
it.
having us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.